what he did. He was just a man, he was just a boy, he was just a little kid inside. Wanted to do a heavy metal podcast like it's never done before. And he's doing it, and he's doing it, and he does it every week, and he does it at the best heavy metal podcast, motherfuckers. That's right, it is, motherfucker. Now here he is, a 200, a 200, a 200, and a 200 on his heavy metal news podcast, motherfucker, yeah. It's a heavy metal news podcast called Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo 200. It's the best heavy metal motherfucking podcast you're ever gonna find. Never gonna find one. Never gonna find it. 200 episodes, never gonna find it. Never gonna find nothing this good in the heavy metal news. Never gonna find it, baby. Oh. 200 episodes of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. Can I get a give me a on that? Welcome, one and all, to episode 200 of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. We have done 200 episodes of this, and some of you fine folks have been there since the very beginning. And perhaps some of you that are just joining now go back and listen to the whole saga, and then you go, wow, I am really tuned in to what's going on Shane's channel. Before we get into anything else, I want to thank you all. I want to have a sip of my drink here. I want to thank all of you guys that tune in every week. You guys are a special kind of special somebody, and you don't even know it yet. You don't even know how special and wonderful you truly are yet. Isn't that great? You're just saying, hey man, I just like to hang out. He delivers the best heavy metal news out there. When push comes to shove, this fucking guy, well, I guess we gotta share teeter-totter with Blabbermouth, because that's all I'm really doing is reading the stories there, but I love it. So you've got to say, this guy does the cutting edge news that I need, and I need it now. Incidentally, I busted the bolts, the final bolt on this chair, so I must remember that if I'm not thinking about it, I'm going backwards. And you know how I am with this shit. I cut nothing out. I leave it in there. We did a band the other day on the first listens. Go watch this if you haven't watched it. And this is why you want to watch my videos all the way through to the end. You knuckleheads that just watch the first 2 minutes, you're just damn silly. I don't know what's wrong with you. But the band was called Toxic Terror, and we did their song Decay. And in the middle of the video, you can hear, well, my son's got a rock band that jams outside in the garage, and you can hear somebody, not him, he's the drummer. So it was not him out there banging on the drum, but it was somebody, and I'm having a text battle with him, and you can hear the drums going outside. Why wouldn't you want to watch that? You tell me why there's only 90 views on a damn video like that. Delivering the heavy metal news, delivering the entertainment goods to you each and every week, and, you know, not to toot my own horn, but for you fitness freaks and nature enthusiasts, today as I record this video, I shot a 45-minute video, which I entitled the most peaceful 45 minutes you'll have all week. And I take a little walk. So that's for fitness freaks and people that just want to relax a little bit. And this is for the heavy metal news audience. I'm giving you the double heavy metal horns ups. Okay? Because you guys are the best. If this is the very first time you're watching this podcast, look into my loving eyes and hear these words from me. If this is the very first time you're hearing my voice, I am welcoming you to a wonderful new earth world where we've put down all the negativities. And we're talking fun, maximum fun all the damn time. First story up in episode 200, we have to talk about it. Rush, the band Rush, whom I've learned kind of on the bass guitar. I have learned the majority sloppily of Tom Sawyer. You can see him right here. That's Ged. Alex calls him Ged, and that's Ged and Alex. And that is two parts of the three-part band that was called Rush. And they have indeed announced, my friends, that you think we'd be leading with Gene Simmons in a car accident, but no, that's going to be the second story. But they've announced that they're going to have a brand new drummer, and they're going to go out on the 50-something tour. Rush is going to do it. I also, because I'm great at heavy metal news, I have a small little clip, and you're going to see her, Anika Nilles German drummer. And I've got a clip of her in action to show you as we get into this story. Welcome to episode 200 of this Jive Talkin. These guys are the best of friends, and Geddy Lee's book, he really talks about lots of things in there, and they're tight. But why not? Why not keep out on the road? You know, of course, the wonderful Neil Peart, rest in peace. And I do believe that Neil Peart was the person who was saying, there's this amazing drummer that I love, and this was the gal. I might be speaking at a school. I'll let Ged and Alex do that now. Rush announces additional dates on 50-something tour due to incredible demand. So this is kind of, I guess the news has been out a little bit, but you'll see how wonderful Blabbermouth is here. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Grammy Award-nominated icons, and Rush co-founder Ged the Gedman Lee, bass, keys, and vocal, and Alex Lifeson, guitars and vocal, recently announced their return to the stage for a very special 2026 headline tour, 50-something. And I've seen the 40-something extravaganza that they put on, and it's wonderful, that concert, if you watch it. In celebration of Rush's music, legacy, and life of late drummer and lyricist Neil Peart, today, due to incredible demand, the band announced additional dates in most cities. The band is adding 2 new dates in each of the following cities. That's 2 more dates for Los Angeles, the Windy City, Chicago, New York City, Toronto, Canada, and Fort Worth. Fort Worth, Indiana, Fort Worth. One more date has also been added to Cleveland because you rock. Limited run of dates. Lee and Lifeson's first official shows under the Rush banner in 11 years will begin at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, site of the last Rush concert on the legendary Canadian band's R40 anniversary tour. That's what I saw on the YouTube. I wish it was going into more of the drummer here. Joining the duo on the trek will be German drummer Anika Nilles, who toured with legendary guitarist Jeff Beck in 2022 and has been rehearsing with Lee and Lifeson in preparation of the tour. I saw her. This is her. If you can see it at all. Is there a way to bring that down? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's going to help me much better in editing. See, and I must be careful of this chair, guys. You don't want me taking a spill on episode 200 and being laid up for weeks. What does that mean? No more. As near as I can tell, she's absolutely amazing. I'm going to go ahead and say she's 100 times the drummer that I ever was. But she loves beanie caps. I see her with her long goldy locks hangling and a beanie caps on. But she's about to blister your ass with 38 seconds of music that's going to make you rethink ever sitting your ass down on a drum stool again. All right, there we go. No, I can't do any of that. That guy's over there staring in the corner just going, God damn it, he's good. You know you're good when they just stare at you amazed going, where's that fucking song at? And thank you to this guy, Barbara TV, thank you for that. But isn't that great extra news that I gave you right there? Anika Nilles, she was the Jeff Beck drummer. Okay, guys, let's get into some of these tour dates. June 7th in Los Angeles, California. Remember, they said they would be adding 2 dates to those, so there's 4 dates in California for you Canadian Californians. Mexico City, Fort Worth, New York, Toronto. I mean, it runs from June 7th to September 19th of 20 in the 26th year. During an invite-only gathering of 150 fans, media, and dignitaries. I almost said dignitaries. I almost said dignitaries on that word, and then I started to think if I was being left out of something. Because I'm into digitarian. I'm a digitarian. I put videos up. During an invite, 150, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's Foster Theater in Cleveland, Ohio on Sunday, October 5th, Ged and Alex of Rush spoke about their decision to reunite for a tour next year regarding how they decided to tour as Rush again. You know, and no one should be upset about that, right? That they're using the name Rush, and it's, you know, Neil Peart has passed on, but maybe that's what the Ged man's going to say here, if I let him speak. Regarding how they decided to tour as Rush again, as the Canadians say, more than 5 years ago after iconic Rusher drum Neil Peart death, well, Alex said, well, let me tell, when we finished the R40 tour in, I believe it was 2015, Ged? Yeah. It was difficult for Neil, and he'd had enough by that point. I think Ged, I still had gas in the tank, and we still wanted to continue working. But it was what it was, wasn't it, Ged? And the further I got away from it, the more I thought, it's okay. We had 40 years. I'm tired of hanging around a hotel, being away from family and all that stuff anyways. He was trying to look at it kind of the glass is half empty. But really what he was thinking about is how it was half full. Him and Ged are floating in that little martini cup together. And they're saying if we just had that big olive to plop in there, which would be Anika, we could get going again. He says, it was 40 years. I'm tired of hanging out in hotels and stuff like that. I felt that way most of the last 10 years, really. And I thought we had a great legacy. Bring it up. And it's okay. Then, this guy, this little stinker over here, Ged, I'm talking about you, Stinky, referring to Geddy, came along and had some big ideas. I says, you little stinker, get over here, sit on my lap. And when we talked, we started playing. That's I couldn't do that. And I've continued over these last years doing other projects, because he was doing Envy of None. That's Alex was. But when we sat down and started playing some of them old Rush stuffs, I realized how hard it was to play these songs. When you do it every day for 40 years, it's not a big deal, really. You're used to it. But when you get away from it, you are a little more objective about the intense complexity of the music and the feel, right, Ged? And the nuance and all the things that go into making Rush songs and performances, too. To be challenged. All right. Where is I want to hear about Anika? AI was doing other things. Al was doing other... Okay, but congratulations. Let's do this, guys. Let's watch her just one more time. That is so much groove, so much feel, and so much everything that I do not have and possess. She's even got the same kind of pants on. I bet those heads are tailor-made for her. I mean, where's that tune at? Where's that tune at? I want to hear that song. Yeah, I can feel the seat falling apart, literally falling apart on me. Pardon me, I forgive you and myself for not doing this story first. I had heard nothing about Gene Simmons being in an accident in a Malibu car crash. I need to know more. I need to know more. I've got another. Where should I put that at? Should I put that here? I do have another clip that I wanted to show you guys from the Tic Tac, and it's a raw vocal. I'll do it here before Gene. Although I should do it after, because this is going to be a sad, he was in a car accident. You want to lift up the spirit with something good. But anyways, we're going to do it. This is Vince Neil's raw vocal from The Residency. It almost sounds like a 1950s doo-wop, the way he did that. I mean, I could hear a slide whistle and some guys going, So, come on, one more time. I mean, just unbelievable, isn't it? Gene Simmons here. Gene Simmons, this guy keeps sunglasses on all time. You want to know why? Because he's a tender heart. You've seen him in interviews where he tries to be as tough as he can be, as tough as nails. But you'll see that lip jitter a little bit, and he wears those because he's got tender eyes, and they show too much emotion. And so he feels like in good business, you do not show emotion. Don't you understand this about the business world? If you want to get kiss condoms and shit like that made, you can't have tender eyes that almost are saying, "Oh, please make this deal, please." No, you have to have those shark's eyes that say, "I'll make the deals. I make the deals. I'll tell you the deal." You can't have tender eyes there. Gene Simmons is at home recovering after he was hospitalized. Let's find out. What's crazy here is even more pressing. Sinkin Stanley. I guess they filmed some video. I watched it of where they're doing the Sinkin Stanley, and literally, I think Sinkin Stanley's been in the comments of these things a couple times. Shane has, I know that. But anyways, they got video of Gene Simmons sending a voice, of them going, "Hey, Thinking Stanley here, Paul, how you doing?" All this, and he's got it on his phone. That might have been bigger news than him being in the accident. Or maybe I'm just completely out of the loop. Let's get into it. We love you, Gene. Gene Simmons. Recovering at home after being hospitalized following a Malibu car crash. I need to know the details. Was it at dinner? According to NBC4 Los Angeles, California, Kiss bassist vocalist Gene Simmons is recovering at home after he allegedly passed out behind the wheel of his car and crashed on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, California. Jesus, Gene. That's weird have you ever seen Gene Simmons behind the wheel of a car before? I've never seen that. Every time I've ever seen Gene Simmons, he's in the Domino video, I guess he is. That's the only time I've ever seen Gene Simmons behind the wheel of a vehicle is in the Domino video. He's always getting out of limos. The 76-year-old legendary rocker told responding deputies that he either passed out or fainted while driving and hit a parked car. Thank goodness for small favors, Gene. You don't want to be smacking into, I passed out and smacked a family of 5, you know what I mean? On the open road. Parked car better. A spokesperson for the Lost Hills. I bet that is a delightful place. Lost Hills Sheriff's Station told People Magazine, that is. Not just, he didn't just walk out the door and start telling the people like they used to do in the Old West. That the accident happened just before 1 p.m. So during the afternoon, just past noon, on Tuesday, October 7th, and involved a vehicle that struck a parked vehicle. Involved a vehicle that struck a parked vehicle. The driver was transported to the hospital by LA County Fire for further treatment, the spokesperson said. Now, Gene's wife, Shannon, told NBC4 Los Angeles, California, the musician, he is recovering at home, noting that the doctor had recently changed his medication and told him to drink more water. But Gene doesn't like that. Gene only drinks blood. Gene only drinks blood, the milk in his cereal bowl, and, kerosene to blow flames. So when they said start drinking water, he just wasn't liking that. Which he's not particularly fond of. You see? I say the things, and then what does Shannon do? She says the true thing that I just made up in my head to say. Gene has since shared the following message via, "Thanks, everybody, for the kind wishes. I'm completely fine. I had a slight fender bender, as they say, and it happens, especially to those of us who are horrible drivers, and that's me. All is well." Told you. They didn't even let him drive in the Domino video. He said, "But I want to drive." And they said, "You ain't fucking driving, because we have a massive insurance policy on you. You're Gene Simmons. It's the 90s. You're trying to do movies, too. We got to have insurance on you." In 2023, Simmons made headlines after suffering dehydration during a KISS concert in Manaus, Brazil. The KISS co-founder became ill on stage, prompting the band to pause the show. Simmons, so he's not a fan of water. You're only made up of about 70% of it, Gene, no problem. Simmons also reported suffers from the heart condition atrial fibrillation, which he has previously said he manages with rest and liquids. Also, I bet he's on a CPAP machine, Gene, because I've heard him in interviews where there's a whistle coming out of his nostril, and I'm like, that's not clear passageway. Although I did learn, would you like to learn a way to breathe? It's very interesting. Like if you're going to bed at night, I learned this and it says, my God, it does open the throat up. So you think you're breathing well through your nose, right? Do this. Open your mouth and breathe, right? And halfway through, shut your mouth. When you do that and you shut your mouth, it keeps your throat completely open. Then you just rest and your throat. Now, see, now now I'm lightheaded because of it. Ugh. Is 200 going to be it? Gene, I love you. I wish you every damn bit of health regain. Everything. I want you to be the king of wishful thinking forever. All right? And I love you. And this is the 200th episode. And I am in this shirt. And that is, well, set of lipstick lips on my collar. I'm not going to tell you where it came from. But you, sir, you keep it up. No more driving for you, buddy. I'm serious. You've never done it before. This better not be one of them publicity stunts. Let's get into Charlie Benante there. He says, "Oh, look at me, dude. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm just beating on these drums like I like to do." And I'll bet that's a pasty, rude ride symbol right there. Man, I'm telling you, I'll tell you true. You can't get better than pasty. But this guy, he says, "Oh, it was always me that they wanted to do this. In Pantera, it was always me that they wanted to do this. They didn't even have any other ideas in their brains about anyone else that they wanted to do it. It was always going to be me." And I agree. He was probably there going, we should do this. I know all the songs. I'm very good at them. How Charlie Benante landed Pantera gig. It was always me that they wanted to do this. It was always me that they wanted to do this. Anthrax and Pantera drummer Charlie Benante is featured guest on the latest episode of Metal Sticks. It's all this deep breathing and stuff that's happening. But I was excited because Metal Sticks is what? The podcast hosted by Nico McBrain, the former drummer of Iron Maiden for 42 years, recently retired from touring, and Modern Drummer CEO David Frangioni. In the first of a two-part series where Nico and David sit down, 2 parts, with Charlie Benante. Wow. 2-parter. Opens up about what it means to be honor his late friends Vinnie, Paul Abbott, and Dimebag Darrell Abbott by stepping behind the kit for Pantera. And they're doing great. And guys, I don't have a horse in this fight, okay? I liked Pantera just fine when they came out back in the day, and Dimebag and all that. And this is fine too. So I'm not neither here nor there about fake or good or bad or whatever. I did see them back in the day when it was the full band, and I'll tell you what, they blew my socks off. I thought they were fucked. And this was right when they were going bye-bye. I think Soulfly opened for them, and it was down in Las Vegas, California, or Las Vegas, Nevada. And they were just phenomenal. Anyways, well, asked, I guess it would be Nico McBrain who would say, "Hey, let me ask you something, Charlie Benante. How did you end up with the gig in Pantera? I would love to know." He says, "I was very, very close to them throughout the years, and especially close to Darrell and Dimebag Darrell. And I think Philip Anselmo, the Pantera singer, and Rex Brown, Pantera bass player, that he really wanted to do something again with the legacy that it is Pantera, and just celebrate the life and the music of them." I agree with him. Philip called me and said, he said, "Would you be into doing this, Charlie?" And they didn't want anyone else to play the drums. It was always me that they wanted to do this. It was always me that they wanted to do this, which I felt very honored by that. And I just jumped at it. And I'm like, yes, I want to do this. Because the love that goes back for me with these guys, it goes back. It goes back a long, 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 long time. And they are friends. Anthrax, they, when they would go to Texas or whatever, they were friends with them. I met Darrell and Vinnie God, what could it have been? It might have been when On the Man, no, it was probably before On the Man came out. God, so we know each other. My voice is going all over the place. So we known each other since 1985, and I just loved hearing it. And I was the only choice. I was the only guy, the only choice they wanted for this position. Reflecting on his live debut with Pantera, this will be good. The first show we did was Mexico City. That was December of 2022 already, I tell you. I believe. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, I was so nervous. And you know this? Because playing Mexico City, they are so passionate there. When Maiden plays, it's just like a spiritual event. So I was very, very nervous. It was 52 degrees outside. We were freezing our little tits off, our little nipple tits. The intro came in and started, and I'm just like, okay, this is it. Let's go. And then once we kicked into the first song, I kind of settled down. Your nervous system settled. You breathe. He says, I kind of settled down, but man, the first show of the tour, you're jittery. You just don't know what to expect. And then I was so happy that I just kind of settled in. And I just kind of wrote it out. And it was just beautiful. Asked by Nico McBrain, let me ask you something, mate. Have you, on the rehearsal time with the other guys in Pantera before they played the first show, did you rehearse with them? Oh, yeah, for me, what I did, see, it's hard mixing them damn, yeah, for me, what I did, as soon as I knew I was doing it, I took like 4 songs. Every week I would approach 4 songs, just working on those 4 songs. Next week, I would do the next 4 songs because I just wanted to know every little nuance that Vinny played. And he does do a very good job of it, even the drum tones and sounds. All right? And a lot of times I was overplaying. I was doing way more than I should have been doing. A good friend of mine, Thomas Lang, I was with Thomas and I was talking to him about it. And I'm like, hey, Tommy, I feel like I'm overplaying these songs. And he listened and he's like, yeah, you are. You're overplaying them. It's more simple than you think it is. You're too advanced. So that kind of put me in a different state of mind. I says, okay, now I can shake out the jitters and relax. I don't even have to play these songs even very hard. They just come naturally to me. No, he didn't say that. Yeah, you're right, overplaying. Yeah, it's more simple than you think it is. So that kind of put me in a different state of mind, and then I just started to flow and just learn Vinny's little nuances and his little tricks that he's got up his sleeves that he would do. And that was it. Because the most important thing is I wanted it to sound like Pantera. I didn't want it to sound like me playing Pantera. I wanted, when the people closed their eyes, I wanted him to think, oh, it sounds like Pantera. And that was my goal. Well, I'll tell you this, Charlie. You have reached that with me. Because when I close my eyes and I listen to what you guys are doing right now, I say, yes, indeed, it does sound. Not, of course, the songs are going to sound like Pantera because they're Pantera songs. But indeed, what you are speaking on, tones and qualities of drum sounds, I agree with that 100%. Very well done there. I mean, what he says, it was always going to be me. Every step of the way. News we will not be talking about, Ian Astbury and Billy Duffy, you familiar with them? To release Paradise Live, an album documenting the rebirth of Death Cult. I don't know what that means. Did the cult used to be called Death Cult? And thank God they changed that name, right? Wouldn't that be a good move to make, the cult? And then you get Firewoman and all that on the radio? I mean, hell, it would have been the 80s, right? We're just out of plenty of death cults in the 70s and stuff like that, right? You don't need it. Let's get on to this one. Oh. We're only going to touch on this, guys. But Dave Ellefson, well, he's wondering about this farewell tour and saying perhaps this is something to boost ticket sales. The only way we're going to know this for absolutely sure is whence Megadeth is completely finished with this tour and with everything if Dave Mustaine says, I lied. We're not done. James, they were all in on it. Is that a little too much? I feel like that was a little over the top. Even Dave's looking at me and says, Jesus, what does this guy keep going on about? Oh, God. And this guy's just bitter beans, isn't he? Old David Ellefson, he just trying to, and then he does that band with Jeff Young, thrashing it up, and they were pretty good, too. They were doing them songs that Megadeth never did. But, get along, you dum-dums. There's so much more to life and existence in this ether and in this quantum field than bad feelings. Don't you understand, David, that you are him and he is you? Right in here, these little spots right here. Right in here. We're all there. You know? You guys are you're the same person having a different experience. I am with you in this triangle of love we're having here, this threesome kind of. And I am just me, but I'm also you, having an experience through you. And I'd like you guys to get along better. Okay? David Ellison questions if he needs to boost ticket sales. One thing's for sure, right? If it's going to be a farewell, everyone's going to want to come out of the woodwork. We do have one other quick story, then we're getting into your comments. And I hope that everything is going great so far with everything that's happening. I don't want any coding issues or anything like that when I'm doing this. And I just want good vibrations and high vibration all the time. In a new interview with AlternativeNation.net, former Megadeth bassist David Ellison once again was asked for his reaction to the band's announcement that its upcoming LP will be the band's last. The Dave Mustaine-led outfit will also embark on a farewell tour in 2026. Asked for his thoughts on Megadeth, calling it quits, Ellison says, honestly, I don't think about it that much, I don't. I think probably everybody else thinks about it more than I do for me. They probably do. It's been a rocky road for sure. Obviously, there have been moments, Sublime, where it's, and I'm practice Santeria, ain't got no crystal balls. And there have been moments that I scratch my head over. But at the end of the day, look, Dave said 4.5 years ago he doesn't want to play music with me anymore, so I just left it there and just moved on. I'm not sitting around waiting for a call. I've already offered. If it should come my way, I'd be happy to participate on some level. Well, David, the only level you'd be able to participate on is the bass playing level, correct? I mean, that's really what it breaks down to. Is if you're going to participate, you would be happy to participate on some level. It would be either playing the bass guitar a few shows or playing the bass guitar the full shows, and we can't have that. And it's because we love James Lomenzo, and we want him to have some money for when he's finished with this band and has to go find another band to be in. We want him to have some money. What we saw in Birmingham at Black Sabbath's Back to the Beginning show, don't you say no mean things, in my opinion, was 100% on point, the right way to say goodbye. You bring back the OGs, Geezer Buttman, Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, and Ozzy Osbourne for the four OGs, because obviously they went through there. Look, they fired Bill at some point early in their career. They fired Ozzy at some point. They're back together. The four guys that started it all to say goodbye together to each other, to the fans. Oh, so he's just saying, he wouldn't mind being in there, but we can't have that. Okay? Because James Lomenzo needs to have some fallback. All of them do. Dirk Verburen, all of them, okay? So we don't need you around, bud. You got plenty of it, okay? So to me, this is the model of how it's done. It is a good model. I'm not beefing you there. I mean, that is 100% the right way to do it. Well, circling back to Megadeth, Ellison said, if it really is a farewell, if it really is, and it's not just an attempt to boost ticket sales, because we've seen this movie before. Boost ticket sales, go away. Then the bigger offers come after everybody's gone away for a couple of years. I mean, We've seen how this works, and he's right on the money, isn't he? Farewell, all of a sudden, Slayer, back at the festival shows. How much will it cost? $90 million. Okay, we'll pay it. Yeah. I mean, but if it works, he said, hey, but look, if Dave needs to shut it down and call it quits because he's just had enough and he's been through it all, then hey, you know what? As a still friend to him, even we haven't spoken almost 5 years. As a still friend to him, even we haven't spoke almost 5 years. You know what? God bless you, brother. Put it away with grace and good. Go enjoy the rest of your life. So if he really is shutting it down, he really is going to put it away, then please do so with dignity and grace. And do what you say you mean what you say. Because I think that farewell thing has been thrown around so much. Twisted Sister, 50 coming back. We've just seen it over and over and over again. So if you're gonna, if you're really gonna shut it down, then shut it down and put it away and go enjoy the rest of your goddamn life. But I'll say this to you, David, and you'll love this. Check this good idea out. If he does say goodbye, you don't want this tour. You want James Lomenzo and Dirk Verburen and Montessori. You want them to have good paychecks to call her a quits. Because when Dave says, we're done, buddy, and they go away a few years, who's getting the ringle-dingle? It's not going to be the same old band that you had when you said farewell. No, that's what the green beans pipe off when you get Chris Poland and you get old you back in the band. That's when it's going to happen. So you should bless this, love it, and make it go away. And then you go and you pray every night that you say, in 3 short years, David calls me on the phone and we do a big, massive tour with lots of money. We're going to talk to Slash here, then we're going to get into your comments, then we're going to call it a day on this episode. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like nothing can stop us now. I am a bit hungry, but I wanted to get through this now. I was going to show you a little clip, just like those other 2 little clips that I've showed you of Mr. Axl singing. But I didn't want, I'm not going to, I can't have 2 parrots on one episode, okay? You know, just that sound of voice. But Slash, you can see him right here. Well, if you don't know who Slash is, he's the guy in the yellow shirt here. He's got his, well, that's horrible the way you're standing for your sciatic nerve, Slash. I'll tell you that first out of the gate. But he's the top hat guy. And that's Slash. And he's a guitar player for a band called GN'R, Guns N' Roses. And this is Axl Rose in his most comfortable position at the piano. And Slash is going to alert us to the fact that everybody is thinking about new music from Guns N' Roses. So we want to just splash this really quick, then over to your comments. Slash says, in a new, indeed, Guns N' Roses album is coming. Everybody is thinking about it at night, laying in their beds naked, thinking about new Guns N' Roses songs and what those will sound like. In a recent interview with Guitar World magazine, Guns N' Roses, and that's who you want to talk to, is Slash. If you're Guitar World magazine, Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash has once again hinted that a new full-length album from the band is on the way. He said, there's so much material at this point, it's a matter of having the discipline to sit down and fucking get into it. But the thing with Guns is, in my experience, you can never plan ahead. I don't even know how the guy sounds. I've never heard him speak a word. He's always got a cigarette hanging out of his lips. You can never sit down and go, we're going to take this time and we're going to do this. Yeah, you can. Every time we've done that, it falls apart. It just spontaneously happens through some sort of inspiration that triggers it. Yeah. Like that drummer coming up with the Sweet Child of Mine riff that you now enjoy. Is you started to play some circus riff or something, and the guitarist said, cut that in half, slowed that down, and then you played that, and then you went, oh shit, that's mine. I'm going to get paid for that. And they went, you're fired, buddy. On the drums? No. I made all that up. Every time we've done that, it just falls apart. It's spontaneous what happens. Inspiration, it triggers us. The next thing you know, it's off and running. It's coming. I know it's coming because everybody is thinking about it. It'll just happen when it happens. Yep. A year ago, Guns N' Roses bassist, interesting, Duff McKagan confirmed to SiriusXM, Trunk Nation with Eddie Junk in the trunk, that he and his bandmates had been working on fresh material. There's definitely a desire and a plan for new music, he said. Yeah, for sure. Wow. Guns N' Roses released a 4-song EP, Hard School. I remember we did that on the first listens a long time ago. Maybe. In February 2022, the effort, which was exclusive to the Guns N' Roses official store, contained the 2 new songs the band released in 2021. The title track and Absurd, as well as live versions of Don't You Cry Tonight, I Still Love You, Baby, and You're Crazy, oh yeah, you're fucking crazy, oh yeah. The legendary hard rock outfit has not released a full-length album since 2008's Chinese Democracy, which included only singer Axl Rose from the band's classic lineup. McKagan and Slash reunited with Axl in 2016 and they have since released several standalone singles. Absurd, stylized by a backwards R in the name, Hard School, Perhaps, and The General, but have not made any announcements about another LP. That's enough. And right there, she's saying, look, golly, look at that guy over there with the bad sciatic nerve problem. I said he's crazy. Oh, hey, you're fucking great. It is time for the best part of the podcast, episode 200. You're here, you're still loving it, you're still having a great time with it. I haven't killed myself in this chair yet. And we have some comments to read, so let's get into it right here, right now. Big Tone coming up. Brother Shane. It's nice to be back after 5 attempts to comment on last week's Jive Talkin. No clue why I was incessantly nuked. I wasn't saying anything any different than I ever say. Spaghetti. But nonetheless, great job last week and great job again this week. He's always telling me what a great job I'm doing. My grandfather said that. Doesn't matter if you're 7 or 97. A good pat on the back always feels good. Congratulations on the milestone with the podcast. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. I got a little handkerchief over here underneath my armpit for whatever reason. Jesus. Maybe this was made for a bigger man. And I'm getting in shape. Oh, he's got some good stuff here. When the show explodes with popularity, I'll be extremely proud. After starting the famous Get Shane to 100K campaign, when that was started, the channel was at around 21.6K, and I'm happy to see that it's at 24.2K thousand subscribers as of today. This guy is just as concerned about my channel growing as I am. Do you see the passion and love from this man? Did I finish that? Let's pump those numbers up. I agree. Big Tone says, Blackie getting pain-free and shedding the unhealthy living is always a good thing, even for Blackie. Let's hope it lasts. Yeah, you gotta do healthier things. It's it's a bummer that everything that's terrible is great. All your bad habits you have because they're just delicious and wonderful, and all these things. Big Tone here on AC/DC. Turn it up to 11 and rip the knob off. F them. If they don't like it, louder is never a bad thing. Fireworks are fire. Oh, he's talking about AC/DC causing all that trouble in the towns that they go to. Fireworks are fireworks. Are there any quiet ones besides sparklers? What are you gonna do? A lot of these little finger thingies on this one. Big Tone says, Mickey D and his ideas. Ha ha, nah. Lemmy had his finger on the pulse of every single aspect of Motorhead. Fewer stacks equals fewer decibels, and that's not Motorhead. Still, to this day, the loudest show I've ever been to. And, I am ashamed to say that the only chance that I got to ever see Motorhead was the one where I only saw 4 songs before he went off stage, and then we know what happened from there, but it was fucking loud. I'll tell you that. It was damn loud. Big Tone says, Shane, congrats again on the clean, nicotine-free living. You're no doubt feeling and looking better, and I think you have a real bona fide hit with She's Got Her Earbuds In. That was the, I think that was the outro of last week's, yeah. And it was tender, wasn't it? That beautiful woman, picture her. Beautiful woman in a sundress, see-through, sitting in that window, that bay with the windows and looking out amongst the trees. Perhaps a little perspiration, and she's got her earbuds in and she's thinking about me. She's listening to my podcast. And her young, hopeful lover or perhaps boyfriend or whoever is noticing her from the other room and saying, she is laughing and she's falling in love through her earbuds. Who is that? And then realizes that indeed she's listening to the same thing, which means that they have something. I'm the connection for them, and they have deep, passionate love that night. And it's all while I'm playing in the background because they realize that they are. Big Town says, Miss Out There and Mike B and Johnny B, the Diablo Big Four, lives on. And there's plenty of room for more. Okay, I'm glad that you left that in there because we don't want to alienate anybody. Nobody's better than anybody. I'm hoping this comment makes it through, and as always, keep them coming, brother. And a whole heck of a lot of heavy metal hornsy upsies. Hashtag get Shane to 100K. Hashtag get Shane an Ambi Award. And hashtag RIP Brother J. Yes. And there you go for that. I have been watching Waste Time with Jason Green, and I have fallen in love with all of those cast of characters. And it reminds me of some kind of old wrestling. If you don't know who Jason Green is, he's the tour manager for Stephen Pearcy Band. And he basically films their shenanigans. So Blas Elias is a regular in it. And Johnny Monaco of Enough's Enough. And they're just a gaggle of goofs that are just enjoyable to watch as they go from gig to gig. And I've been enjoying it. And I don't even look at him as, Stephen Pearcy. He's sometimes in the episodes. And they just go fly. However that works out, they just fly to each gig. So basically they have a certain amount of money they're asking, right? Jason Green says, we need 10 G's. You provide the back lineup, and here's what the back lineup looks like. 2 Marshall stacks on each side. Ampeg bass amps in the middle, drum riser. Blas Elias uses this kind of a drum kit. So they fly from show to show and show up. But it's all the boring shenanigan shit that happens between it that I love, that I like watching. So if you haven't, go watch that Waste Some Time with Jason Green. You really enjoy yourself. As I have done. And yeah, this is the 200th episode. Johnny B coming in here. I had a whole post I made about everything discussed in episode 199. It wasn't anything special or mind-blowing, but it was related to Blackie Lawless and AC/DC and all the fun topics. And then I purchased a brand spanking new iPhone and transferred all of my information over to it, as one does in the situation such as that. And I didn't update my backup. So my comment was deleted off the face of the interweb. So that's what happened, and now I'm moving forward. And that's all you can do in life. Don't bust your ass and don't think about what woulda, coulda, shoulda been. It's over. Now is the moment. What do you do here? What do you do now? Even an hour ago doesn't matter. What are you doing now? Hopefully you're still sitting through this. Johnny B says, I don't know if you or anyone out there in Jive Talkin universe are fans of the iconic and grandiose trio Rush, but they are reuniting in 2026 to do a small tour sans Neil Peart. As you may know, sadly, Neil passed in January of 2020 and was a key member and considered one of the best drummers in the world. And I agree with that assessment. They are embarking on the 50-something 2026 tour with replacement drummer Anika Nilles. No, not that one. Come on. Tell me something we don't know, buddy. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad that you're doing it, though, because that is extra confirmations. Replacement drummer Anika Nilles, who was a member of Jeff Beck's live touring band. The gal is a badass, and that's putting it lightly. Now, I know there is a big controversy within the Rush fanatics saying, how could they, really? Well, I'm here to answer their questions. How could they is the question asked, and I'm asking, how could they not? They've said this is a memorial to Neil and that he himself will be smiling down, and he would, because he's a sweetheart, and if you read half the lyrics that he wrote, you would understand these things. Very deep thinker, very rich man. And I mean rich as in soulful rich. He would be looking down from the heavens with love and light and gratefully cheering his two friends, Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee, on. And I'm all for this. They're not making a new album. They're not cashing in on anything. They're not making Anika a permanent member. They are honoring their friend who passed away too soon, and a musician who was admired and loved by legions of fans. If that's not enough and a valid reason, then I don't know what is, Shane. I just don't. You're damn straight there, Johnny. You're damn straight. Well, apologies, my comment is a little off topic, but my hard work and ambition was deleted and not saved to the cloud. Very unfortunate, but not really. Hope everyone is in good health, and until next time, keep looking up, keep asking questions, and keep on a-rolling. Ooh, buy yourself a Diet Coke if you know what song that is. Keep on rolling, keep on rolling. Ooh. I don't know the oohs. I can't remember how they go. As soon as you're on rainbow, and I am wheeling. That's who it is, isn't it? Johnny? Miles here. Miles with a short one? It's fine. Miles. Much like the other folk here, congrats, Shane. This has become a routine part of my week, and it's always enjoyable. And I love you for that, Miles. That's, short and sweet, sweet and tender. Always nice to hear a nice thought from a nice person, right? We are moving away, my friends. I've said this several times. You'll understand more as we move along, but we are moving into a chapter of your lives and my life that is going to be absolutely magnificent and wonderful, but we have to get the pustule and the festules and it's out. That's what's happening. It has to bubble to the top so you can dump Neosporin or some kind of anti-disinfectant all over it and let the freshness and the newness and wholeness come to life. You'll understand more. But I think that when you release positivity out loud to the universe, positivity comes back to you. When you release negativity words out into the universe, they find you, because the universe says this. This is what the universe tells me. Oh, they want more of that. So whatever you're saying, a lot of people used to do this. I talk about it in my long nature video, is anytime something not good was happening in your life, you go, well, that's just the way, that's because that's my life. No more of that. Your life is wonderful. Your life is good. Your life is great. Your life can't wait. I always say this. Every day I say this. I say, I can't wait to see what wonderful, magical gift the universe delivers to me next. Positivity come out, positivity come back. Negativity go out, negativity come back. Miss Althea coming in here. The Dumbstruck Fool says 200 episodes and a bitch ain't one. Unless you count me. Oh! Congratulations on this milestone, and here's to many more. And she probably was wondering if this was even going to show up. More epic episodes to come. Blackie, now Miss Althea on Blackie Lawless, and thank you for that. Blackie Lawless, how he managed to get his body back, ? He had a body to begin with. I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, he was still kind of a trunk, even back in the 80s, And then he'd wear assless chaps or whatever, and you're like, you should cover all that up. The convo makes it sound like he was ripped at one point, and while I have never been a huge fan, I do not recall him ever being a specimen. Whatever, I honestly do not intend any ill will or disrespect. He's been through a lot, and I am thankful that he is getting back to the point where he can function more comfortably again. Beautiful, Miss Althea, wonderful. Miss Althea on AC/DC, and they were making all them noises. What's the expression? If it's too loud, you're too old. Yawn. Otherwise, I jumped off their train in 1982. Miss Althea on Mickey D. I can't help but remember the fact that Lemmy's ashes, or at least some of them anyway, are floating around in bullets. Yes, and maybe other things. I am having a weird science, maybe even Gremlins-like vision of a little Franken-Lemmy being discovered in this world. Could you imagine? Some guy come out of the gut. Hello. Well, I wanted to keep it a secret, but Lemmy's me daddy. He's got the matching moles and stuff. But he's only got like a mustache or something, And he's got a nice button-up suit on. I work downtown at where you park your car. And when he passed away, I was in me little cubicle and someone had paid and I opened the gate for let them go in. And I says, I think it's time for me to come out. A little Franken-Lemmy gremlin, vision of, discovered in the world. The scenario is a combo bad movie we love. The scenario is a combo bad movie we love anyway, and a new wave of British heavy metal revival. Steve and Rick's podcast. Here we go. Rick Parks. Oh, thank you for this. Rick Parks is the owner of the Maryland Institute of Music located in Hagerstown, Maryland. That's where they say they are. Hometown of Kicks. And where Steve still lives. I think he and his wife have been in the same house since the early 80s. I have yet to watch a full episode of the program. Sorry, but the pot part alone is totally lost on me. There's never even you don't even see them doing it. I don't know why it's called the podcast other than they get some goodies from this company. I think I am the only person on earth who does not get high, nor do I have any interest in getting high. Hard pass, thank you. However, I did see a few minutes of an episode where that sexy motherfucker Brian Forsyth, Damage, that's what they call him, right? Brian Forsyth was a guest. So, Miss Althea, the good news is you're going to hear more about devastating hemorrhoids and everything else from those guys than you're going to even see. There hasn't even been a toke of pot on there. It's called the podcast. They mentioned a company a couple of times, but that's it. Yeah, and this chair is falling apart. Miss Althea says, "I keeping it bitchy, boo 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 boo." Good job, Miss Althea. Sticky doll coming up. I apologize because there was a couple of these suckers right here. And I'm not saying Sticky doll's a sucker and Mike Buchanan's suckers. Okay, I'm just saying these were the victims, the culprits. These were the ones that got cut off last time. So El Sancho here from Sticky Doll. He says, "Hey, yes." Our comments got the shaft a few weeks ago, but we gave some serious love on our Sticky Doll music video. So we forgive you. Thank you for that. I think Miss Althea was referring to a few of us specific listeners as the Diablo Big Four. We think that that is pretty fucking awesome, and we'll proudly wear that moniker. Moniker? WTF is a moniker. Oh, well. If you're here and you hear this and you hear me now, hear it true. You're part of the big ones. Here's another off-topic thing I'm going to talk about since we're waiting for the big one. I'm going to say you guys are all the big ones. If you're putting comments here in these episodes, you're all the big ones. Miles, Sticky Doll, you're all big. Waiting for the big one. I have been watching, I told you, Jason Green, and he'll put in some shots of other bands they're playing with, and Vixen come along. I've seen Vixen a few times on those episodes. One is with Femme Fatale. Does not sound good at all. I mean, it does not sound good with her, Femme Fatale lady. But then that dark-haired girl that's newer, the newer one, nailing those songs. So there's that, just a little insider for you. Still with Sticky Doll here, says Blackie Lawless is sure tooting his own horn in that interview, eh? However, he is far from looking like an athletic, in-shape human being, like he is referring to himself as. I will give him credit, though. He seemed to have cut back on the chocolate cake. That is great. Who doesn't love chocolate cake, though? I mean, and my God, if you could put a big blast of ice cream on top of it, too, oh, that's even better. Because as we all know, Blackie Lawless loves chocolate cake. Yeah, he loves he's got a fine palate. He's tasted chocolate cakes from all over this world. We should be so lucky as to taste half the chocolate cakes that Blackie Lawless has tasted in his fucking life. Okay? Our palates are dull. They're not razor sharp. They don't know flavors and spices and all that kind of stuff. But Blackie Lawless, he's tasted cakes from Amsterdam to Tiananmen Square. Everywhere he's went across these lands, he's tasted the cake. Chocolate cake. It is that time for Mike Buchanan. I think we got one more down here. Ryan, yes. Well, we'll get Ryan right out of the way. He says, that intro is gold. And I'll tell you what, buddy, I couldn't agree more. And we'll finish out with Mike Buchanan and his jokes of the week. Here's hoping that everything has happened good and there's nothing going on with these files. And as I say that to the universe, I say it this way. There's nothing wrong with those files. They're in perfect working condition. All is well. All will be well. Let's get into Mike Buchanan. Here we go. First off, a very heartfelt congratulations on 200 episodes of Jive Talkin. And having been around since episode 1, what was I thinking? Yeah, I know this comment is on episode 199. Here's to another 1,000 episodes, Shane. If you get to be the most popular podcast in the world, don't forget about us. I'll tell you this right now, guys. Well, this is something. I'll tell you, the people that are in these comments right now, if I became the biggest podcast in the world, even bigger than Joe Rogan, I'll tell you right now, the people in these comments, they sure as hell won't be forgotten. You want to know why? Because I ain't that kind of guy. I don't forget. You most popular podcast in the world, don't forget about us. Love to you and all of the Shaniacs. What a way to begin the ending, the closer coming to the ending of this podcast than that. On this week's movies, but we love them anyways. In the Mouth of Madness, 1994, where reality goes to die. The movie dares to ask, what if fiction didn't just influence reality, it ate it? All right, let's talk about this freaking movie, man. In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter's like, you guys like Lovecraft? You like losing your sanity? Well, here you go. And I'm sitting there with a bag of Doritos and a six-pack thinking, this can't be that wild. Bro, 5 minutes in, I'm questioning reality harder than when my mom caught me blasting Slayer in '87. Michael, what is that man going on about saying something about burning in hell? Rain and blood? It's not raining blood outside. It's a beautiful 78 degrees. Sam Neill. All right, yes, we know Sam Neill. For you guys, I'm just scanning this real quick for a Jurassic Park. He's that head man in Jurassic Park. Sam Neill, question mark. This dude out here, chain smoking, rolling his eyes like he's too cool for demons, and then bam, he's knee deep in nightmare fuel. There's creepy kids, gooey monsters, some dude with an axe, and by the end, Sam's just sitting in a movie theater laughing his face off while the world goes to hell. Same, bro. Same. Right? The monsters? Question mark. Straight out of your worst bad trip at a Gore concert. The town? Full of psychos that make Walmart at 3 a.m. look friendly. And the author, Sutter Kane, he's basically Stephen King if Stephen King decided to stop writing books and just started ending the world instead. Bottom line, this movie rips. It's confusing, it's creepy, and it's got that perfect Carpenter is probably laughing at us vibe. 5 stars. Would let it melt my brain again. Do you see how I'm hitting you with the Canadian agains? It's all in tribute to Rush. And 200 episodes that I'm saying it that way. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play from the comforts of your padded cell, of course. Mike Buchanan here on his goodies from last episode, Blackie Lawless. Glad to hear that he's on a journey toward health and healing. I myself have been on that journey and it's finally kicked in. I've now lost over 30 pounds and am feeling much more like I used to. Yes, indeed. Mike Buchanan on AC/DC. If it's not loud, is it really metal? And if they only got 8 complaints, then they weren't loud enough. Hell yeah, take down the lights. Mark Buchanan says, Mickey D, back in the day when bands were bands and didn't have others write hits for them. Motorhead was just fast, filthy, and fueled by whiskey. Mike Buchanan on Voivod and their documentary series that's perhaps fantastic band might ask for that book for Christmas because you'll be able to read it. 540-page beautiful Voivod book, but there is a documentary on the way, people. And now, Jive Talkin' Jokes of the Week, the anniversary wife set. The missus and I celebrated our 29th wedding anniversary on October 5. And believe me when I say she's a saint for putting up with me. Well, come on now. You're a saint for putting up with her too. All right? The divine feminine, yes, but also the divine masculine. It's all equal, It's like, hey, she's had to put up with you, but you had to put up with her. It goes both ways, but the vibration is still working out. Good. My wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. My wife said I only have 2 faults. I don't listen and something else. Marriage is like a deck of cards. At first, all you need is 2 hearts and a diamond. Later, you're looking for a club and a spade. Now, all right, we're leaving that right there. But he was meaning like a club and a spade is a shovel. All right? I don't want to explain these jokes to you. Marriage is all about compromise. She wanted a cat. I didn't. So we got a cat. My wife says I'm lucky she loves me. I say I'm lucky she hasn't Googled trade-in policy. And finally, I told my wife she's making my heart skip a beat. And she said, that's just the cholesterol, babe. Not anymore, babe. If you drop 30 pounds so far, keep it up, keep it going. Anything that doesn't resonate with you, you know what those things are. You're like, I need to quit this. Your brain tells you that all the time, every time you do it. You go, I need to do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Well, this has been the best 200th episode I could ever ask for, honestly. Ryan, we did get you down there, and I got to hit Mike because he's going to say, dude, I give you a big beefy portion there, and you can't give the heart. What the hell? Thank you, one and all, for 200 episodes. There will be 200 more episodes, indeed. 1,000 more. Because I enjoy your company. No, I want a pattern. Oh, baby girl, how you doing, girlfriend? Shane just hit 200 episodes. Celebrate, we have some wine and some good times. 200 episodes, baby girl. Do it again, gonna do it again. He said he's gonna do 200 more episodes, baby girl. So that means you'll stay in love with me. 200 episodes. I said 200 episodes. I said 200 episodes. I said 200 episodes. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Anika Nilles. Hup, hup. Shane, 200 episodes. Come on, baby, baby, baby.